Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So my son and I had a conversation today about God. Kind of sort of about God. I don't really know how I feel about God. I did not grow up with any kind of religion. And by the way, side note, if you do, and if you were religious, amazing. Just not for me. Not for me. But I do believe that there's order to this world. Sometimes I may call it God. I think more often I refer to it as the universe. And so I was saying to my son this morning what sparked this conversation, and why I'm talking today is this concept of hell on earth. So let me explain how we got to there. So today I am, as I record this, at least you're going to hear this like after the fact, but I'm heading out to Boise, Idaho with my husband, Ed, who is in Russell Brunson's Inner Circle. It's an amazing group mastermind of just brilliant entrepreneurs. And so it's over the next couple of days. So we need to get on a flight today. And there's some things I need to still finish up. I did not want to give up my swim lesson today with my swim coach, and so it's a little tight for time. I might have wet here in the plane. Don't really care. It's fine. I really want to get in the pool. It's going to help me with traveling and do that. So as I was driving Tyson to school today, I was like, bud, we're going to leave a little bit early. We got to get a full tank of gas for the nanny who's coming to be with your boys for the next 3 days. And then as I filled up the car, and I go to pull out of this little mini mall, which is maybe like 3 minutes from Tyson's school. It's actually close to our old neighborhood. First house that we moved here to Victoria almost 2 years ago. And I look over at the pet food store, which is the one that we used to go to. It's like a chain. It's called Bosley's. And there's an open sign. And the last thing I need to do is get dog food. Like, we literally have none. Do you have pets? Do you have dogs? And it's like you've run out of dog food. You doing the thing where you start feeding them shit in the fridge? Like, come on. You know you've done it. You know you've done it, right? You're like, it'd be fun. I'm like, oh God, feeding my dog broccoli. And like, this is going to be a problem. There's going to be massive dog farts happening. But anyway, so I'm like, I got to get dog food. But I know it's just a quick in and out kind of thing. But like, it's like time's really tight, right? My husband can get a little bit stressed out traveling. So we allow lots of extra. I like allowing lots of extra time. And I just don't want to be rushing. It's just going to add to Ed's possible stress shit about it. So I look over and there's an open sign, pet food store. I'm like, oh, like the sky's parted. Angels are singing. So I go and I get the dog food. I'm good to go. Now heading to swimming. I'm good. Everything's like, got the money for the nanny for any stuff that they might need. They want to go out to dinner, get some pizza, gas. I got a full tank of gas. I'm pretty much packed. I just have to come home, shower, get myself ready. Everything else is all set. Unless there's a major catastrophe, like we're good, we're on time here, right? We're on schedule. So I say to Tyson, I go, Tyson, the universe provides. And he goes, what does that mean, Mommy? So we had this conversation about God and about the universe and about there being that it is important for us that we live our lives based on the things that we want and we take action on those things. However, that there is a greater force. And I said, some people believe in God. Mommy at least believes in like the universe providing. So then it became a conversation of heaven and hell. And so this is this whole hell and earth conversation, right? And I said, well, you might have heard. He's like, well, what's hell? I'm like, well, some people believe in a book called the Bible, which says that if you do bad things or you commit sins or you do wrongdoings in your lifetime, that you're going to go to a place called hell. And if you make the good choices, you're going to go to a place called heaven. And that's like lovely. And hell's like the pits of hell and it's awful and evil and all this stuff. He's like, well, what does it look like? And, it's funny, right? The 7.5-year-old, like the things that they ask you about, it's so interesting, right? Because of course it's like, well, what does it look like? I'm like, I don't know. Like in the movies, it's lava and there's the devil and he's not a good dude. It's very red. It's hot. Like, it's not fun, right? And so then I talked about different phrases that have like the word hell and like, what the hell? And, you go to hell. And like, I'm trying to explain stuff, give my son like a whole explanation of things. And so then I talked about hell and earth. I go, because Tyson said to me, it's so funny because he mentioned this. He goes, well, some people might actually experience hell here. And I go, you're right. People will say that like, I'm in hell right now. right? Like what they're saying is they're experiencing something that's just really dark and heavy and difficult and challenging, and it sucks. It's like, I'm in hell. And so we talked about then hell on earth. And I said, some people, Tyson, will either make choices that create those experiences in their life, or they actually waste their life. And so they live a life of complaining and bitching and moaning and whining and judging and blaming and pointing the finger and saying that everything is the fault of everybody, that their life sucks, hell on earth, because of everybody else or experiences that have happened to them. And listen, like, I can understand how people can get into that place. Like, I can get in that place for periods of time. I don't stay there long. I pick my ass back up. I slap myself in the face and go, move the fuck forward, Karen. Like, stop your pity party. Nobody's coming. Nobody gives a shit. What do you want? Get clear on these things. Start moving forward. Like, pick yourself back up. You know better than this shit. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. But yet a lot of people are living a hell on earth. And they think they have no control over it. And that life is just simply happening to them. A lot of kind of like, New Agers want to say, well, life is happening for you. And that's very true. But they spend that way. They spend their life that way. They spend their existence that way. They go through the formula that we've been led to believe that we need to follow. Finish school, maybe go to university or college, and then come out and get married, pop out your kids, work, hate your job, disconnect from your spouse, have grandchildren, and retire, and then you die. To me, that's hell on earth. To me, it's hell on earth to waste your life. To realize that you are worthy enough and deserve everything that you fucking want. But it's not going to come to you just because you will it, want it, and think that life should just hand it to you. See, this is when people often, they have a very twisted way of seeing life. It's like, well, it hasn't just been provided for me, right? Or they look at people that have certain things and they feel jealousy and they feel envious and they're mad and they're pissed. And how come they get it? They must be lucky. Like, I saw someone had posted a picture on Facebook that they're in Vegas right now. And they go, oh, lucky you. And I'm thinking, I see those comments and I just literally want to throat punch the person through the comment. Even though it's like not about me. And I'm like, fuck, what a stupid fucking thing to say. Lucky you. You know what? Someone being in Vegas didn't just happen because it was luck. They created space. They produced income to do that. Maybe it's someone to watch their children if they have children. Maybe it's business and they've excelled at a certain point in business that they're going through. I don't know, like whatever. But it didn't happen by luck. And think of the time that is wasted in our lives with that kind of bullshit, small-minded thinking. And the bigger piece is this. Not only does it fuck you over with your life, but you're fucking over everybody else because you are not using your gifts and talents and providing this to the world. You holding all that stuff back, playing small, being the complainer, the one who whines and complains and says, poor me, is robbing yourself of your life and others of what you could do and become and be by actually expressing your gifts with the world. Do you get that? It doesn't just affect you, it affects other people. And I know for some of you sisters that this is going to be more relevant to you because you will often do for others before you will for yourself. And so if you need to understand the cost of you living hell on earth to other people, and if there's that little bit of like maybe guilt, maybe that thing, I mean, you can use that as like a motivator, like if I don't show up, like what are my kids seeing? Right? What are my children seeing? What are my grandchildren seeing? What are my clients seeing? What is my husband seeing? I want this thing in a marriage and yet I'm not showing up this way in a marriage. Our lives are such gifts. Like truly fucking gift. that you and I are here on this earth right now. There are people whose lives have ended well before I believe that they're supposed to. Now again, who am I to say that that's not the way that their life was supposed to go, but children that die before they're born, people that, have a disease and body's not able to heal through it and they die very early in life, people who have a car accident, instantly killed, kids that are on a bus in Saskatchewan, and 15 of them died on a bus. Your life is such a gift. It really, truly is. And you living that hell on earth is like such a disrespect. Really. It's like, this gift you've been given. Think of like someone gives you a gift and you just like fucking trash it. Like, I don't know. Imagine someone like bought you a car or a piece of clothing and you just treat it like shit, or you just go, oh, this is stupid, and you stomp all over it. Like, that's what you actually do when you don't live your life fully. That's what you do. So here's your more tip for today is like, I want you to open your journal and like really ask yourself this question, like, where am I living hell on earth right now? Regardless of what you feel religiously or if that exists, or like, we're just going to say for the sake of, there's a place where it's awful, right? And so where are you living hell on earth right now? And what is one thing you can do in the next day or two to begin to move yourself out of that? Because you put yourself there. You put yourself there. Understand, there are people that have been through the Holocaust that choose to see something in that experience for them, that choose to see goodness. If you want a great example of that, go read a book called A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. He was a Holocaust survivor. Describes horrific shit that he saw in the Holocaust and experienced. But yet he decided to rise from that. Last podcast, or one of the ones from this week, I'm not sure where it's going to be in the lineup, but is about using turn your pain into power. We all go through tough things in our life. But where are you living hell on earth right now where you are not able to move forward from it? You're just not choosing to. Screw the not able to. You're not choosing to. And what is one step you can do within the next 24 to 40 hours that begins to move you out of that hell on earth? So such a couple things I want to share with you before we finish up this podcast today. Number one, make sure to subscribe to the Women Wanting More newsletter. This is VIP access to everything Women Wanting More. Do you realize for a lot of you, you had no idea that I ran a masterclass on marriage and how to heal your marriage. And there is an opportunity for something new coming up, a webinar I'll be doing about that within about the next 2 weeks. So if you're not on the newsletter, you will miss all of this. I don't often talk about these things on the podcast anymore because some of you will listen to this podcast 6 months from now, like, oh, where's that webinar she talks about? And it's like, oh, that's from 6 months ago, right? So it's all through the newsletter that I keep you in touch with that. I'm also going to teach with you or share with you my More For Action Guide and a video training on how to start your day in power, and 2 extremely powerful trainings to show you how to remember who you are, how to drop your stories and create new ones. Drop your stories of hell on earth and create new ones. And so I want you to head over to drkarenosburn.com. So drkarenosburn.com/action guide. Enter your name and email. We'll get you started up on that today. In addition, make sure to subscribe to this podcast. And I want you to leave a 5-star review. If this is of any value to you, your words can be the pivotal factor of another woman seeing that review and being like, oh man, this sounds good. I'm going to listen to it too. So you have the opportunity to reach out and to pay this forward and to help another woman connect with this podcast. So head over to iTunes, subscribe to the podcast so you get every single episode. You don't miss one. That's out 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. And leave a 5-star review. Let me know what you think of the podcast. And number 3, I want you to join us here in the sisterhood. There are so many women like you that think like you. And being around women who are like you, powerful women that want what they want within their life, they want to create a life of more within their marriage, with their children, with their business, with their bodies. It's everything to be around women who are like you. So that's what you get over at the Sisterhood in that group coaching program. So head over to drkarenosburn.com/sisterhood. And you can also read all the stories of women who are in the sisterhood and how that's really impacted and affected their life. and you get to sign up for the first 7 days for just $1. And that's at drkarenosborn.com/sisterhood. So I will talk the next episode, sister. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborn.com/newsletter.